welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you some really comforting home style meals. We're going to start off with a huge amount of potatoes. So I basically make some wedges. I'm going to cut all my potatoes up, put them to the dish, and we actually had enough for dinner and then enough for lunch the following day. Now these are the remaining potatoes that I got from the wholesaler around 3 weeks ago, I think it was. I just kept them in the fridge, so they've lasted all this time. So if you really do look after your potatoes, they can last a while. You can clearly see I did a lot of potatoes here. Yeah. These dishes are huge. They're 3.5 litre dishes. I got them from Asda a while ago and they were £6. Quite the bargain. So I'm just literally adding some olive oil, salt and pepper, and that is it. It's simple flavours, but they really do work. Now these went into the oven for about 30 minutes. You need to give them a good amount of time to cook because I've not parboiled them, but you can do that. I've done that before now, where I've parboiled the potatoes and then put them in the oven with the olive oil and the salt and the pepper. They come out beautifully crispy and fluffy in the middle. Now this is a bit controversial, but I'm cooking my mince from frozen, but it's absolutely safe. It's not the most convenient thing to do, and I wouldn't recommend it if you haven't got enough time to watch it. But I didn't get the mince out of the freezer in the right amount of time. In fact, this dinner was very last minute planned. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing 2 pans because I'm doing 2 different things. I only recently realised that I got 1 enchilada kit and 1 burrito kit in my cupboard. So I was going to cook both. My kids were kind of indecisive what they wanted to eat. So I was like, we're going to cook both, it's fine. And it was really quite tasty. So in 2 pans, I'm just going to defrost and brown the meat off, as you can see here. I have to say this, I don't recommend doing this because you've got to make sure that meat is thoroughly cooked. It's a safety thing, you've got to make sure it's thoroughly cooked. As long as you do that, you are safe to eat it. And I am now proof of that fact because I ate it yesterday and I'm perfectly fine. What I will say is, I've just added some onions and some peppers. The peppers are in my freezer. It's good to freeze your peppers. But I did add the peppers and the onions. Took both of them and I'm going to season with salt, pepper, and I think I also add some Old Bay. I do add Old Bay because I add Old Bay to absolutely everything that I make. It is the best thing ever created. Trust me, get some and you'll be thanking me later. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically trying to let all that cook down. I want the onions to become a bit softer, cook those peppers down slightly, and now I'm adding the first sauce packet into the first pan. This is going to be the burritos. This is kind of like the burrito mix that comes with it. I added a bit of water, but then I realised that I added too much water, so I went to the cupboard, got a tin of kidney beans, drained it, washed it, and then I squished it down with a potato masher, added that into the burrito pan, if you like, and it really did work. Here comes the Old Bay because I can't not have a dinner without Old Bay. You will see that shortly where I add those kidney beans. This is why I keep kidney beans in the cupboard because it kind of absorbs a lot of liquid. So if you've got a dish that's quite runny, add kidney beans, let it cook a little bit, and it absorbs it all. But you've also got that added, something to your dish. And then in the second pan, I'm going to add that seasoning as well, so that's for the enchiladas. I added just a little bit of water because I kind of learnt my lesson from the first frying pan of not to add too much water. And then I'm also chucking in that salsa mix, I think it's the tomatoey mix. But these are quite huge packs of mincemeat. I think you only really require a smaller pack, but I think for the enchilada one, you're supposed to add chicken, but I added minced beef instead. You choose what you want to do with your own pan, And then here I've just got to grate up a lot of cheese. cheese to go into the burritos, and then cheese to go inside of the enchiladas, and then on top of the enchiladas too. And now I'm just going to roll them all up and put them into this dish I've got here. So I've just sprayed it quickly with the Kirkland oil spray. I did get it from Costco over like a year ago, but it's still good to use. It's still good. So I'm just going to assemble this now. I'm just going to add that minced mixture to it. This is the enchiladas, and I'm going to roll it up, pop it into the dish. I always spill so much, but that landed perfectly in that second wrap. It's fine. We can deal with that. Bit of cheese in there. Roll it up, put it in, squish it all together, and you're good to go. So we're just doing the last one now. So just putting that mixture on. I did have a lot of mixture left, which we'll put in the fridge, and then somebody will eat it for their lunch, probably Dave. What I did do though is I added that sort of topping into a bowl and added some chopped tomatoes, because it just wasn't enough to cover the whole thing. And you don't want it to be too dry, but they also seasoned it at the same time. Season absolutely everything. It makes a lot of difference. I think I pretty much added the same kind of seasoning that I did to the 2 pans of mince, which is fine, you know, salt, pepper, bit of garlic, and Old Bay of course, but I am running out, it's quite scary. But yeah, give that a really good mix, and then I poured this on top with a generous helping of cheese, but I did spread that around first, just so it, you know, covers as much as possible. Here I'm doing that. And then just get loads of cheese on top. Now I'm not using mozzarella because unfortunately my mozzarella went mouldy because I didn't freeze it. So we're using Tor Valley cheddar on absolutely everything. Now here I am plating up a plate for Dave. So I've got some wedges on there. Don't they look lovely? And I'm just going to spoon on the burrito mixture here. He really liked the added addition of the kidney beans, which was great. Bit of the salsa that came in the pack, and then a sprinkle of cheese. Now what I will say is I'm used to batch cooking and buying things cheap and doing things bulk. These packet mixes were just in the cupboard, so you got to use what you got at home, and this is what we did. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. We all enjoyed our dinner that evening. It was lush.
Hi everybody. This is a really awkward angle, isn't it? And that's even worse. So this is day 2 of the vlog, and I've just got back from Tesco. I needed to get a few things. I spent more than I should, more than I needed to, but I'm going to show you right now what I've got. So here it all is, and I will tell you what I spent in the end, but I did get toilet roll as well, and we all know that's like gold right now is toilet roll because it's so expensive. So I got one of the Stone Bake ciabatta, but it was reduced to 166, so that's not actually too bad. We've got some of these Munch Bunch yogurts. They were $1.25 on Club Card. Got more baking powder, more butter. I did get the Home Pride Premium Milled 00 Extra Fine Plain Flour because it's supposed to be really good for pizzas, and we love pizzas in this house. So I'm going to make some pizzas with this, and I'm going to try and make some pasta again because that's brilliant for making pasta. I did get these jalapeno cheese crisps, the 150. I can't help myself, they go on offer. I need to get some. I'm literally addicted, they're so good. We've got the Pittifer yogurts for the little ones. They were £3 on Club Card. Natural yogurt. We've got some mozzarella cheese, and then I've got this type of mozzarella cheese. It's firmer, and I'm going to make the Korean corn dogs again. If you've seen them on my TikTok, I made them, but I'm going to make them on here on YouTube. So that'll be good. They're so good. For them, you need just, I'm using the Frankfurts, so get some of them. Then we got some salami. They were just over £1 each. The kids love these in sandwiches. I've got the panko breadcrumbs. This is for the Korean corn dogs. I also got these. They're called white flesh sweet potatoes. Now I've seen in a lot of like Japanese vlogs that I watch because I love watching Japanese 7-Eleven vlogs, people going around shopping in Japan, and in the 7-Eleven ones I think these are in them, and they're just like bacon and you just eat them like that, like a baked potato. So I'm going to give those a go. I was so surprised seeing these in Tesco. I think for these two I paid $1.53, so that's really good. So I'm going to give them a go and let you know how they are. And then I've got some of this, what is it called, what is that, rigatoni. So I got this big box of rigatonis, 1 kilogram. It was £2.50 because I'm making a big mac and cheese again, but I really like this one, and Tesco don't actually have macaroni, so we're going to use this one because it is my favourite pasta by my favourite brand. And then I've got some oil to cook the Korean corn dogs in. I got some Pepsi Max for me. So this is like us waiting to do our big shop that's coming up very soon. We've got 2 of these large avocados. Me and Liara ate one yesterday. They are so good. We share one because they're so huge. So we've got 1 each this time. I've got 2 loaves of bread. This is the thick slice bread. We all love this one. Kitchen roll, because I've run out of, like, I had so much kitchen. I think about like 8 rolls or something like that of kitchen roll that I got from the wholesaler. I don't have them anymore, one of which I dropped in the sink when it was full of water. So I could have had 1 more left, but I don't. Then we've got some eggs, because believe it or not, we've used those 60 eggs, and then I add another 30 eggs and I use them too. So you can imagine we go through a lot of eggs, don't we, Dave? Yeah. So we have to just look at this little one. He fell asleep in the car and he's just having his afternoon nap. Then I got this bundle for mine and Dave's dinner this evening. It was $14.95, but this platter here alone was like $13.95 alone, wasn't it, on its own? Yeah. So with the bundle, you're only paying £1 extra for some, is it gyoza's? I can't pronounce things, it's so bad. And some mochi. So that's mine and Dave's dinner later when the kids have gone to bed and we've got 5 minutes to think and then sleep. We're going to eat this, aren't we, Dave? But yeah, it's not a mega shop, but I also got 24 rolls of toilet roll, which was $7.50. I just can't get over how expensive toilet roll is, and as a big family we go through a lot, so this is criminal. But we do, don't we, Bab? We do. But yeah, so we're going to crack on now. We're going to make some yummy recipes together. Let's do that.
So we're going to start off with some macaroni cheese. We're going to boil up this pasta here that I got in the previous clip. If you saw that little shopping segment, you'll see that. So yeah, we're going to boil it up in the big pot I've got here. Not really sure what we're going to call it yet. Maybe you can drop a suggestion of what we can call this big huge pot. I took about 3 kettles full of water. It is huge. Now I am going to make the sauce differently this time. I'm going to chop up an onion. I'm trying to chop it up small. I used to have one of those fancy choppers until the hob turned itself on with a chopper on top of it and melted the bottom plate where all the, you know, all the things collect inside your food collects in the plastic tray. Melted away. So we don't have her anymore, so we have to chop things by hand. Now I'm frying this off in a humongous amount of butter because technically we're making a roux, but I'm trying to like enhance the flavour, oh there's the boiling water, of the roux by adding the onion. So I've melted all the butter and then I'm adding the onion. Believe it or not, this camera was sat on a pile of eggs. This is what we have to do to get the right camera angles these days. Very bad. So here is all like bubbling away, and now I'm adding some flour. It's just my usual self-raising flour. Use whatever flour you want. I think, do you supposed to use plain flour or self-raising flour? I don't actually know, but I've always used self-raising flour for some reason. So I added a little bit more. You want to combine it and then cook it off a bit because you want to cook that floury taste out of the flour, otherwise it tastes like uncooked flour. Now what I will say is, I kind of skipped along here because I forgot to record me adding the milk. Add it a little bit often, mix it until it's all combined. So when you add a bit, mix, and this is what you'll get. And then I dumped so much of that Tall Valley mature cheese in. Tastes incredible. And then what I did was, I just put it into one of these containers. I had about half of it went in a container, half of it went in a bowl, because some of the children actually don't like any sauce on their pasta, and they just love plain pasta. Don't ask me why that is. They just snack on it as well. You just find them just grazing on pasta whilst watching their tablets, watching their Miss Rachel or whatever it is they're watching, just eating plain pasta. I'm like, do you want any flavour with that? And they're like, no, I want to eat it like this. So yeah, so now we're making the Korean inspired corn dogs. I'll call them inspired because I don't feel like I'm making them properly, but I'm taking inspiration to create this recipe for you all. So I only kind of realised that my skewers were not long enough for these corn dogs. I was going to do half a hot dog, half the mozzarella. Didn't work because they're too short. I'll buy some other ones at some point and we can do all of that. So we're going to make just some cheese ones, kind of like mozzarella sticks, which is what I'm doing here. These are the small cocktail sticks that I've got. They're more cocktail sticks than they are skewers. So I'm just poking those through there, through the cheese. This block of cheese I got from Tesco. You can't use like the balls of mozzarella. You have to use the proper blocks of mozzarella, the firmer mozzarella, to, you know, make this a success really. And then I just put them in the hot dogs here. They're like frankfurters. You can use whatever hot dogs you want, but you've got to use hot dogs to actually get like the proper flavours of the Korean corn dog that you want to go for. I am going to leave a list of the ingredients for this batter in particular in the description of this video, so please go and have a look. I eyeballed the whole thing, so I'm using self-raising flour, quite a bit of it here, because you want the dough, or rather the batter, to be quite thick so it sticks to those corn dogs. Then you need some baking powder, a couple of eggs, some sugar and milk. And the milk is basically to bind everything together, but you don't want to add too much. I added a little bit, mixed it, and just sort of wet my eye, just until it reached the thickness that I was looking for. But like I said before, I will leave a list of ingredients and correct measurements for you in the description of this video. It was very difficult to mix it at this point because it was just so thick, but you've really got to put some elbow grease into that and give it a really, really good mix, especially to get those lumps out. Now when you've done that, you want to add it to a tall-ish glass. This is the best I could find with the time frame that I had, because I needed to get it quick because my oil was already at the right temperature next to me. So I poured it all into the glass, and then you want to get your hot dog, dip it in, make sure, you know, the majority of it is coated, and then you want to roll it in panko breadcrumbs and then just drop it into your frying pan. Now you can use a deep fat fryer. In fact, it probably would be better if you use a deep fat fryer, or if you've just got a fryer like this, use a fryer like this. Whatever you've got will work perfectly. In terms of time frame, or like how long you leave them each side, I'd say about 3 minutes, or until they've gone a nice golden colour. Flip them over like I've done here, and then I took them out and put them in one of these trays with some kitchen towel on the bottom just to absorb any oil that might come off them. But yeah. Now the cheese ones were so good. I cannot recommend making anything more than these. Look at the cheese pull on that. They were so delicious. Moving on to the best thing I've ever made. So this garlic bread is just, it's divine. So I'm using a ciabatta that I got from Tesco. It was reduced. I've got a lot of butter here, but you need a good amount of butter. So butter, melt it in your microwave, bit of parsley, and then I'm adding some garlic granules, a good amount of garlic granules, but you can use fresh, but if you don't have it, use your granules. Salt, and then a really generous amount of black pepper. I did cut this, but not all the way, so I try to make slices, but don't go all the way down, kind of like they do with the garlic bread, you know, the ones you've got in the shops. And then I just basically placed the garlic butter and in between those slits, but I tried to get it to cover all of that area on both sides, just because you want to get lots of flavour going. So now I'm going to add some mozzarella, and I'm going to try and get it between those slits, but I did kind of like break it in half somewhat, but I put some mozzarella in the middle and then just like squish the two sides together to kind of glue them together. But when it's cooking in the oven and the mozzarella is melting, it will become glued together. But this just looks like perfection. Now I don't like to waste, so I do add the rest of that butter on top, just so it goes nice and crispy. Here it is before, and then you'll see an after. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I make these videos all the time as well, different things like vlogs and challenges and whatnot.